Hi Cancer, welcome to your week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Cancer, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you have the World card, right? And so in a lot of ways, this is a week for graduation, but it's also a week for you to coming into your own. This is going to be a powerful week for you guys. And in a lot of ways, this could see you tapping into or being a part of a new community in some way, shape or form. You could just as easily see you reaching your own personal next level. This might be a moment of recognition on a personal level though, right? This is a recognition of self, for self, by self, of you stepping into a new era of your power, or maybe even getting more comfortable or acquainted with the power that rests on your shoulders. What I like about this for you as well, what I love about this card specifically, is that in this deck it's called the universe. And this, this could be a week where you feel like you're being plugged into the mains, right? Where you're really getting into the universal flow of energy, right? You could be more connected to it than you have felt in a long time, or maybe ever. Who knows, right? This could be a really powerful week for you in that regard. With that said, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose, and this resonates, hit the subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you've got the Two of Swords. So this is you making a decision to launch yourself out into the world in some way. This is you really starting to understand your place in all of this, your place in the world, your place with what you're currently doing, what you're currently working on. The Two of Swords can sometimes have a bit of an opposition energy, and so for that reason this could also see you starting to get very selective about the communities that you are tied to. So this might see you starting to really weed out the groups that you no longer want to be aligned with or associated with. And that doesn't mean that there has to be any shade or any challenges or issues. It's just you getting really selective about the way that your energy connects to and how you are seen through your group associations. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Six of Pentacles. This card has been very active this week. And this card for me, there's a few meanings to it, right? One of them is the transactional nature of money or life. So this week, when it comes to your communications, there could be a lot of debates going on. There could be a lot of swapping roles. There could be a lot of interpersonal changes and connections that are coming up for change. Another way that this could show up as well, this card can sometimes represent a karmic debt being repaid. Now, when it comes to your communications and conversations, pay attention to the communications that you're having this week, to the conversations or even the debates that show up, because you might be getting a glimpse or an insight into where certain things are coming to an end. Now, the reason I say that is because the World card, or the universe in this deck, the World card is a completion point, is where something ends and we get to start a brand new cycle. So your communications and conversations, when it comes to your work, your studies, this could be a time where you are leaving something behind because you've learned all you needed to in that area of your life. For those of you that are studying this week, it could be where you are getting all the fee money together. Maybe you're starting to look at your acceptance letters. For some of you, this could literally be the offer that you wanted now makes itself known. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, the Six of Pentacles always has an element of, charity and or philanthropy about it. So you might find that your boss is more sympathetic to your plight this week. So if you're looking for a pay rise or more responsibility or anything of that nature, you've got the go ahead to ask for it. For some of you, this literally looks like the culmination of all the hard work that you've done now starts to make itself known and or available or possible, right? Excuse excuse me. For those of you that are, come on brain, for those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that are work for themselves, this could be really wonderful for you because it suggests that you are either getting new clientele or new business. There's new monies coming into you from or through other people, and this could be maybe you get one client who absolutely loves what you provide them, and so they start singing your praises. There's very much a word of mouth kind of feel to this for this week. So, you know, yes, social media and all the rest of it in the digital age, absolutely, but you can't beat word of mouth, right? Sometimes it's the same for me. Like, I'll read for one person and then they'll say, like, I'm sending a whole bunch of people your way, and you'll see a succession of them through that word of mouth connection. Even in the digital age, do not knock the word of mouth growth, because I'm telling you now, it can still make or break a business, all right? It's just that we live in a digital age at this point. With that said, for those of you that are retired and no longer working, this could be a moment at which an old hurt, an old wound, an old resentment, an old issue or challenge could literally be laid to rest this week or let go of. And you might feel this as a very visceral release. Like maybe you have a conversation with somebody that you fell out with, you know, oh so long ago, and it's like on the other side of it, you just feel this massive weight is lifted off of you. So that could be beautiful. For your love and relations, you've got the Moon card. Okay, so for those of you that are single, it looks like you may have an admirer already in your midst, but you might be so busy this week that you kind of overlook it. And I say this because it looks like this person has been around for a while. Remember, the Moon card represents the past. So this could be somebody that's already been in your life for quite a while that sees you in a certain way, but you've never really noticed their advances or their overtures. This week you may notice, or they may just get frustrated enough to pull you aside and say, look, you're missing the point. I like you. For those of you that are single, no, that is you. Those of you that are single. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this is an old financial challenge or issue that might come up between or for you and a partner. Maybe a partner has an old debt resurface and it's like, oh gosh, really this? It may be something that needs to be talked about or out, but if you approach it as an item, it won't be such a shock or an issue. I gotta be honest with you, I kind of feel like when it comes in, you might be a little bit frustrated about it because it's like, I thought this was done, you said you'd handled this, and it comes up again. I don't think that your partner was holding this from you or lied about it. I actually feel like it may be the paperwork has a mix up with it. So check the fine print and the details. For your money and materials, you've got the Moon card. So there's a double hit of Piscean energy in these cards. When it comes to money, finances and resources, if you are getting into something new, I would refrain from overspending this week. I would, in fact, if you don't have to spend on something, especially things like new items, desire buys, you know, like something that you want or you've always wanted, etc. Because with the Hanged Man, sometimes it can get the better of us, and with the Moon card, you may not necessarily be seeing the thing that you want or that you're buying clearly enough to you know, like it might look really, really great when you're buying it, and then when you get home, you're like, oh my gosh, there's a massive hole in it, or, you know, oh my gosh, I bought this car and actually the whole underside is rusted. Like, do your due diligence if you're making any big purchases this week. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, especially because you've got the Moon card here, two things are going to come up. One, for some of you, this may literally be oh, okay. Yeah, no. So for some of you, this might literally be your feet, your toes, your ankles, so that whole general area of the body. But for a lot of you, this may very well be hormonal stuff. Now, as a Cancerian, your waters of your body are already very important and already very sensitive. The fact that you've got a double hit of Neptunian energy, you have to be really conscious this week of how much you, like if you're a drinker, nothing wrong with that, but don't overindulge or don't don't go to excess this week because it could really get the better of you and on a health level, and you have to look after your endocrine system. So if you have already hormonal imbalances, this would be a good week to check in with a doctor. That being said, when it comes to your home and environment, I like the Hanged Man for the home because it suggests that the home is quieter, easier, more harmonious, possibly even more spiritual this week as well. Now, for the full moon that's taking place in the sign of Virgo, for those of you that are ascendant Cancerians to a lesser degree but still relevant, the sun and the moon, this is going to be taking place in, if she doesn't throw them all over the place, this full moon is taking place in your 3rd house, right? So this is all to do with your local environment, your local community, the fact that you've got the World card here, which can represent communities, the places and spaces that you're tied to. This comes up very powerfully for you. Pay attention, right? You've got your finger on the pulse of what's happening in your neighborhood this week. And some of it, if it kind of gets a bit tetchy or intense, you could really feel the brunt of that, certainly on an emotional or an energetic level, okay? Now, that being said, it is a full moon. So it's putting a spotlight or a highlight on your skills, your abilities, the things that you can do, the things that you can do with ease. This may also highlight for a lot of you where a new skill is requiring more time, more effort, more juice, where it needs to be brought more into the forefront. And as well, because it's a full moon, this may highlight some area of study where you are ready to graduate. Your full moon message from the Human Design Oracle deck is the Gate 60 and limits, right? The message behind this card isn't just about limitation, it's about learning to work with what you have, right? So when you see, you know, those animals that are paralyzed from the mid part downward, and the owner's given them like a set of wheels, and happy as Larry, you know, they don't even blink at the fact of like, oh no, look at me, like part of my body is paralyzed. They just get on with it, right? Or the 3-legged dogs. I'm giving you examples, like extreme examples here. But to give you an idea, this full moon is trying to show you that wherever you may feel a limitation in your skills, in your local area, work with what you have. Turn it to your advantage, and that full moon is going to lead the way to doing so. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.